let's start playing with the software now, designing the restoration. And the first step to do here with the Cerec software 3D, always take a look in the left lower corner and the software will tell you what to do. So right now it's asking me to trim the preparation. Trimming the preparation meaning removing the adjacent mesial and distal teeth. So here we have a blue line that you can see and a white crosshair. So touch any area on the lingual or on the buccal, doesn't matter where you want to start, and touch that particular area, double left click, and now we can see that we have a green line and a blue line. Just keep going, bring your mouse towards the proximal area, and you're going to counter the tooth. Make sure you're going to remove the adjacent teeth. If you want, during this process here, just do one left click, and once you reach the other area, double left click, and as you can see now the the mesial adjacent tooth is gone. We are going to do the same thing on the distal. Double click on the lingual or on the buccal, doesn't matter. Keep going. In order to make curves with the line, you have to do one left click. Be careful not touching any angle or wall. So I'm just contouring my tooth on the buccal, and once I reach the buccal area, double left click. If now we have this ghost image for the tooth you're prepping, put the mouse right in the middle and double left click. Hitting next. Now we have the second step, designing the restoration or the inlay for this tooth, and the Cerec software is now asking me to enter the preparation margin. So in order to enter the preparation margin, you are going to put your cursor here right on the buccal or on the lingual cavul surface margin in this occlusal view, double left click, and what we have now is a red dot. And if you move to the left or to the right, the software itself is understanding the margin or the cavul surface margin, and it's creating for you this green line or the margin for this restoration. So you can keep going, and now what you are going to do, you're going to design the margin all the way on the cavul surface margin. If you press the left button and hold it, you can rotate the prep, so then you can better see the proximal area. I'm just keep going down now, again, press again, and rotate the tooth. Every time I press the left button, the green line becomes blue. That means the blue area is saved already. It won't move, so I can move the other line there, but this area here is already saved. In particular areas like here in the corners, sometimes the software is not able to see exactly where is the margin. So what you can do is you can better define those areas, and you can switch for automatic margin finder to manual margin finder. How do you do that? Just press the space bar on your keyboard. Once you press the space bar, you notice that the yellow stone is now gray, and the green line became gray line. So now in manual mode, I can do whatever I want in terms of defining the margin. Again, keep clicking the left button to save the previous line. If you want to go back to automatic margin finder, press the space bar again. If you make any mistakes at this point, design the margin, don't worry. You can go back later on and redefine the margin in any particular spot that you might think you need to draw again the margin, or fix corners and things like that. Again, I'm just working here on the distal box. Left click to save the previous margin. In any particular area that you think the automatic margin finder is not working, press the space bar and you can better define the margin where it is. There we go. Now I'm almost approaching the previous red dot, and once I have my cursor right in front of that previous red dot, I'm going to left click. The margin for this tooth is almost done. It is time now to rotate the tooth, and you're going now to check the margins everywhere. You see a problem like that? Don't worry, do not freak out. You can easily fix this problem here. The software can also give you a second step to do an edit for this margin. So once you see an area like that, you're going to bring your mouse on this particular spot right here, double left click. You can see that I have the green line back there. Connect to the other area, double left click again. And now I just fixed the previous problem. I can also see a problem on this distal buccal cable surface margin. I don't think the margin is there. Again, double left click. I'm redesigning my margin in that particular spot. There we go. I don't think on the corner here I have a decent margin, so I'm going to redefine that margin. And I want you to do the same thing on your model, on your 3D software. Keep playing with this margin thing, so I want you to get familiar with that. There we go. I think the margin is way better there. Let's now fix this margin on the lingual. And you can play around. You can go to every single wall and every single step, and you can redefine the margin the way you want. Clinically speaking, this is really helpful because if you have your patient chair side, you can easily go back to the patient's mouth and double check one particular area if you have questions where exactly you should place your margin. Once you are done, you can rotate and you can see all the margin. Make sure the margin is well defined. If you have any problems, go back and fix it. Because once you establish the margin, that's it. The software will take this as information that you just input, and you create a restoration based on this margin here. Let's hit next. And this would be the third step. The Cerec Software 3D is asking you to fix the path of insertion for the restoration. The idea here is just to rotate the model in a way that you cannot see any undercuts. For instance, if I rotate my model like that, you can now see a yellow line on the lingual. So you have to move back towards the buccal. And this is just again to simulate the occlusal view, that you can see all the internal angles, that you don't have any undercuts. Buccal lingual walls are divergent. axial walls are convergent and internal angles are rounded. So once this is done, I'm going to hit next again, and at this point the Cerec software is going to design for you the proposal for this restoration. What you can see here now is the software trying to fit almost 400 different restorations to create a restoration for you here for this particular prep. The software is also taking information from the adjacent teeth. In this case here we have a crown. Here is not really useful, but the adjacent distal tooth is another bicuspid and can provide information about the occlusal surface for this restoration. That is also proximal distal contact, and the software is also adjusting the distal contact in order to get a proper occlusal and proximal contact areas. You can rotate the tooth and you can analyze the whole thing, make sure that the margins are close. This is a 3D preview for the proposal restoration. You can see the beautiful anatomy on the occlusal surface. It's really similar here to the adjacent tooth. As you can see, it's a very deep occlusal central fossa. The software was just trying to copy the information from the adjacent tooth. It's deeper here on the lingual. The software was doing the same thing. So let's now explore this upper menu over here. Let me just bring towards the center. And you can see that the first thing we have here is trim. So once I hit trim, it's like removing the die from a cast. So now what I have is only the restoration and the prepped tooth. And I can rotate and check proximal, mesial, and lingual surface area. The second key here is contact. So now you're going to check the contact strength for mesial and distal. Remember, for this particular model here, we only have the distal adjacent tooth. And you can see that we have different colors for this proximal area. This blue color here means we almost have contact, but it's not touching. Green means you are touching, but it's less than 25 microns contact area. Yellow means we do have a contact between 25 and 50 microns. And red means above 50 microns contact area. That means this tooth is touching the adjacent tooth properly. We do have a nice and decent contact area. If you want, hopefully you notice that you have a brand new menu here on the left upper corner, and you have a mesial contact and distal contact. If you click distal contact, the software will readjust this distal contact area, make sure it's nice and touching the adjacent tooth. If you remember before, we don't really have a tooth on the mesial because there is a crown preparation there. Reason why there is no contact on the mesial. So this is the end of this exercise. I want you to learn how to design the margins. I want you to learn how to trim the adjacent teeth, and I want you to see and check the proximal contact areas. And now we can rotate and analyze the anatomy for this particular tooth.